Why did GTA 6 need 13 years? First off, I don't even think that question sounds strange anymore, because this game has been hanging over gaming for so long, it's basically become part of people's lives. Some of us were there when GTA 5 dropped in 2013, then years went by, Red Dead Redemption 2 came and went, consoles came and went, and we're still here talking about the next Grand Theft Auto, like it's this event that never quite arrives. For me, the reason it took this long isn't that Rockstar forgot how to make games or spent a decade sitting in a vault counting money. It's simpler than that. Rockstar makes huge games on huge timelines, and once a project gets this big, the final stretch turns into something messy in ways normal players never really see. Straight away, this is not a case where the studio disappeared and did nothing. GTA 5 came out, then Red Dead Redemption 2 released in 2018, and that alone should kill the lazy theory. Anyone pretending Rockstar has just been asleep for a decade is chatting nonsense. What actually happened is that GTA 5 turned into one of the strangest games ever in terms of lifespan, so the wait for 6 feels longer, because 5 never really went away. Every extra year just made the sequel feel more ridiculous, more built up, and harder to live up to. That pressure builds before you even start talking about development. Then there's the way Rockstar handles communication, and that's a big reason people lose it. Most studios now can't stay quiet. Every month there's a roadmap, a developer diary, an update video, someone in an office telling you how great things are going. Rockstar doesn't move like that. They go quiet for years, then show up with something polished enough to take over the internet for a week. Because of that, the years of work don't really feel like years from the outside. People mainly feel the trailers, the headlines, the release windows, the few moments where the game shows its face. Once that stage starts, every delay feels heavier because it finally seems close. That's where the dates come in. Fall 2025 sounded like something people could hang on to, then it shifted to May 2026, then November 2026, and once a date slips more than once, everyone starts acting like something has exploded behind the scenes. I don't think you need a dramatic theory for that. Schedules in game development are wrong all the time. Big plans meet reality, reality wins, and then the company has to decide whether it wants to force the launch or move it again. That decision is where the business side kicks in, and that's really the core of the whole topic. Rockstar's parent company, Take-Two Interactive, is not desperate in the way some publishers are. They have steady money coming in from existing games, Grand Theft Auto Online, sports titles, and everything around that. That matters more than people think. If a company is living month to month, they shove a game out in a rough state because they need the release. When a company has a cushion, waiting becomes an option. It might be annoying, expensive, even a bit embarrassing, but it is still an option. In that position, shipping a broken GTA 6 starts to look riskier than delaying it. That's the key bit for me. The Grand Theft Auto name is too big to damage for no reason. You can survive a delay if money is still flowing in. You do not easily survive launching one of the biggest games on earth in a state that makes everyone laugh at it for half a year. When companies say they need more time for polish, people hear that and roll their eyes because the word gets thrown around too much. I get that. It sounds like an excuse. Even so, on a game this big, polish is not a tiny clean-up phase where a few people tweak lighting and reflections. On something this size, it's the stage where all the systems crash into each other. Artificial intelligence, vehicles, physics, missions, the open world, online stuff. They might each work fine on their own, then fall apart when they overlap in a strange way. You fix one problem and another one pops up. Sort out performance, and now some weird bug appears 3 hours into a playthrough. That kind of work eats time like nothing else. A trailer doesn't really tell you much about that side of development. Captured footage proves they've got impressive content. Great, cool. No one ever thought Rockstar couldn't cut a good trailer. What it doesn't prove is that the full game holds together when real players do mad things for hundreds of hours. That's the real test. Players will drive the wrong way across the map for ages, start fights where they're not meant to, pile systems on top of each other, and deliberately try to break missions. All it takes is one strange mix of actions to reveal a problem no one saw coming. That's why late development looks chaotic from the inside, while people on the outside just see a shiny video and assume the game should be on shelves next week. I also think some of the time when on work, you will never notice in the final game. After the 2022 leak, there's no way everything carried on exactly as before. Security would get stricter, access would be locked down, sign-offs would probably increase, and all of that slows normal work without giving players a better mission or nicer skyline. The same goes for changes like moving staff back into the office. Whether you think that's right or wrong isn't even the point. Changing how thousands of people work in the middle of a huge project always has a cost. Teams have to adjust, routines shift, and communication gets reshuffled, even if the company believes it pays off later. Time crunch probably matters here as well, and I think people ignore it because gamers have been trained to act like burning people out is some secret cheat code for better games. Rockstar got hammered over the Red Dead Redemption 2 crunch stories. If they really are trying to move away from that old setup where you just work people into the ground until the deadline is hit, then something has to give. You either cut the scope, change the plan, or move the date. With GTA 6, cutting the scope too far would kill the whole point of it, so the thing that moves is the date. I believe coders should be allowed to touch grass. From my side, as someone who played a stupid amount of GTA 5, the wait also feels exciting because of what that game turned into. Single player was where it actually felt sick to me, just driving around, messing about, causing trouble, soaking in the world without treating it like a job. Online was a different thing completely. Funny sometimes, yeah, but also one of the dirtiest in-game money setups I've ever seen in a big release. Shark cards were a joke. Real money for fake cash that barely bought anything. $1 million looked like a lot until you checked the prices and realized it basically covered a garage and a dream. So when people say they preferred money glitches, I get it. The glitches felt more honest than the store. At least the glitches admitted the system was broken instead of asking you for your card details. That part matters because GTA 6 isn't just following a successful game. It's following a game people lived in for years while also hating parts of what it turned into. That creates a strange kind of expectation. Players want the freedom, the atmosphere, the chaos, the stupid stories that just happen when you mess around in the world. At the same time, they're wary of the online money side because they remember how ridiculous Grand Theft Auto Online got. Rockstar knows that. Take-Two definitely knows that. With that kind of pressure on the next game, I can completely believe they would rather buy more time than push out something with technical problems that instantly gets buried under complaints. What I find interesting is that the delays don't really tell me the game is doomed. They tell me the first plan was probably too optimistic and the company had enough space to admit it. Those are two very different things. A lot of people online only think in extremes. Either every delay means some perfect masterpiece is being forged, or every delay means total disaster and everything's on fire. Most of the time, it's way more boring and way more believable. Big game, hard to finish, schedule slipped, company can afford to wait, date moves. It's not dramatic, but it adds up. My honest opinion is that Rockstar would have been under insane pressure no matter what. They're following GTA 5, which turned into a cultural phenomenon, and Red Dead Redemption 2, which pushed expectations for detail even higher. Every tiny glimpse of GTA 6 gets pulled apart like government intel. Every delay becomes a personality test. Every rumor gets passed around by people whose source is apparently a vision they had in the shower. In that kind of environment, I can see why delay keeps beating launch. Once the first impression matters that much, the safe move is obvious. You give it more time, even if everyone complains, because everyone moaning before release is still better than everyone moaning after launch while posting clips of the game falling apart. That's why I don't think the real question is, why did GTA 6 need 13 years? In some dramatic way. For me, it's more, why would anyone expect a game this big, from this studio, under this kind of scrutiny, to reach the finish line fast? Nothing about that setup sounds smooth. Massive scope, wild expectations, a very private way of working, security tightening after the leak, changes to how people work, land a business situation that lets them pick delay over disaster. Put that together, and 13 years starts sounding less like failure, and more like what happens when a company refuses to throw out a half-cooked Grand Theft Auto. In the end, I'd still take that over the usual AAA rubbish, where a publisher throws out a broken game at full price and tells you patches are coming, like that's meant to calm anyone down. We've seen enough of that. So yeah, the wait is ridiculous, the date shifts are annoying, people are tired of coming soon being part of their adult life. Even with all that, the logic behind the delays still makes sense to me. Rockstar can afford to wait, GTA 6 is too big to mess up, and the last stretch on something this huge is probably a nightmare no trailer can really show you. That's why it has taken this long, and the answer is a lot less mysterious than people try to make it. That's my take on it anyway. This has been Ghost Lobby. Thanks for watching.